राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय 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 गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
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 यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन
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 यामुनतीरा वनचारी
यमुनतीरा वनचारी
यामुनतीरा वनचारी
यमुनतीरा वनचारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
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 जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे
जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे
जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे
जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे
जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय
जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव
शिल प्रभुपाद की
जय।
गौरी वैष्णव वृंद की
जय।
जय गौर प्रेमानंदे
हरि बोल।
Thank you so much, dear devotees, for kindly being present here today for this second part of the two-part presentation on two paths to Sri Krishna Prem, Vidhi and Rag. Thank you so much for kindly being present here today. I am so thankful and grateful to each and every one of you for being present here and for kindly encouraging me in this seva by your presence. between the speaker and the audience, I have always said, the devotees, who is more important, the speaker or the audience?
Speaker.
Audience. Audience. Both.
Dear devotees, I think we've had this argument many times. And the conclusion is that the audience is most important for the success of a program. And for those of you who are hearing this for the first time, I'll give you two reasons. First, dear devotees, is that if the speaker doesn't arrive on a particular day, then somebody else may be selected as the speaker. But if the audience doesn't arrive, then what will we do? So, this proves that the audience is most important. And in most programs, dear devotees, the second reason is that Prasadam is prepared after the program, and Prasadam is prepared mainly for whom? The speaker or the audience? Who consumes the most Prasadam after the program?
Audience.
So dear devotees, hence proved that the most important for the success of the program is not the speaker, but the audience. All of you are present as the audience here today. All right. Thank you so much for kindly being present here today. I am very grateful to each and every one of you. And we'll begin with Mangalacharan, auspicious invocations. Most of us know these prayers. You can kindly sing along with me. Om
ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरु वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामे गौरविषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे। Dear devotees, welcome once again to this second part of the two-part series on two paths to Sri Krishna Prem. The first one is Vidhi and the second one is Rag. Dear devotees, we discussed yesterday the path of Vidhi, and today we are continuing and we'll be discussing the path of Rag mainly. But dear devotees, no program can begin traditionally unless the speaker glorifies the audience.
Sri Rupa Goswami would always make it a point that he would glorify the audience before he began speaking something or before he began writing a book. So dear devotees, it is very important to have that connection between the speaker and the audience. Dear devotees, especially for all of you, a new verse has been composed. So I'm showing a new verse which establishes the relationship between both of us. Alright, dear devotees? So here is the verse. This verse is in the meter Vasanta Tilakam. Same as Brahma Samhita. I'll try to sing. Please repeat after me. Karpasa sutramiva yadyapi tuchchamasmi.
Karpasa sutramiva yadyapi tuchchamasmi.
Yuyam sugandhiyuta pushpanibhastathapi.
Yuyam sugandhiyuta pushpanibhastathapi.
Naha sangatirhi bhavatu sragivatra bhakta.
Na sangatirhi bhavatu sragivatra bhakta.
Sasracha bhushayatu sundara radhikangri.
Sasracha bhushayatu sundara radhikangri.
Dear devotees, there is a relationship between the speaker, myself, and between all of you, the audience. I am singular case, all of you are plural case. But dear devotees, Karpasa sutram iva yadyapi tuchchamasmi. Sutra, dear devotees, does anybody know what is the meaning of sutra? Thread. And Karpas is kapas. Kapas in English is known as what? Cotton. So Karpasa sutram iva yadyapi tuchchamasmi. Dear devotees, I may be as tuchha. Tuchha means as useless as a stray thread of cotton lying on the floor. I consider myself to be like that. But all of you are very important for me because all of you can give me meaning. Yuyam, all of you, Sugandhi Yuta Pushpani Bhas. All of you are like individual flowers that have variegated colors and fragrance. And dear devotees, what happens when a thread and flower come together, dear devotees? Wonderful. So Naha Sangatir, our coming together here today, Srag Ivatra Bhakta. Dear devotees, let it become like a garland. I'll be the thread. All of you are the wonderful fragrant flowers. And Sasrakcha Bhushayatu Sundara Radhikangri. And may this wonderful garland be offered at the two lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. So, Prabhu, you have a loud enough voice? Will you try reading the translation loudly, slowly and loudly?
Dear devotees, I may be as useless as a stray thread of cotton. However, you all are certainly like delightful, fragrant, fresh flowers. May our meeting here today result in the formation of a beautiful flower garland. And may this fragrant garland decorate the beautiful two lotus feet of Shri Radha.
Dear devotees, so this is my position. And if I am like this alone, I have zero value. Alright? But all of you are comparable to wonderful fragrant flowers. And when thread and flowers come together, dear devotees, what is produced? So let us form a wonderful garland here together and let this garland be offered at the two lotus feet of Sri Radha. But there is something missing in the verse. Simply a thread and flowers cannot make a garland. Oh my goodness, I forgot. So the verse has a mistake, isn't it, dear devotees? Because there is no needle. And by itself, does a thread have the power to pierce the flowers? So by my own speech, I do not have the power to pierce all of your hearts. So I need a needle. So dear devotees, here's another verse, freshly composed. Same meter. Suchim vina kimapi sutramiha prasuna.
Suchim vina kimapi sutramiha prasuna.
Vedayanalamiti tathyamati prasiddham.
Vedayanalamiti tathyamati prasiddham.
Acharya vakya dhrida suchikaya sahaham.
Acharya vakya dhrida suchikaya sahaham.
Paushpam hridadya bhavatam khalu chidrayishye.
Paushpam hridadya bhavatam khalu chidrayishye.
Suchim vina, suchi is a needle. Suchim vina, without a needle. Kimapi sutramiha prasuna bhedaya nalam. Any thread will not be able to pierce the heart of a flower. Iti tathyam, this fact, ati prasiddham, is well known, the devotees. Therefore, Acharya vakya drida suchikaya saham. I will take, the devotees, the sharp needle of the words of the previous acharyas. And to my mouth I will attach the words of the previous acharyas. And these words, I am sure, are like a sharp needle that will pierce the hearts of all of you, and thus will be able to form a wonderful garland, dear devotees. So, will you try reading loudly? Thank you.
Translation.
Loudly.
However, it is a well-known fact that any thread in this world cannot pierce a flower until it takes help of a needle. I am a thread, and thus I too take shelter of the strong needle of the words of the previous acharyas. With the help of this sharp needle, I will certainly pierce the hearts of all of you beautiful flowers to create a beautiful garland for Sri Radha.
So, dear devotees, this is the desire, this is the relationship between the speaker and the audience that I wish to have. Thank you so much for kindly being present here today. Yesterday, we discussed Vaidhi Bhakti, and I'd like to do a small recap. What is Vaidhi Bhakti, dear devotees? Vaidhi Bhakti is that which is based exclusively on the Shastra. So this is very clear. And there is another main condition. Vaidhi Bhakti occurs when a particular form of Bhakti is not present. Which form of Bhakti is not present?
Raga.
Raga Bhakti is not present. When Raga doesn't manifest in the heart, the default fallback option is which Bhakti?
Vaidhi.
So dear devotees, Srila Prabhupada had specified something in his purport to Chaitanya Charitamritam, Madhya Leela 8.221. Prabhu, can you kindly read what Srila Prabhupada says?
One has to serve Krishna according to these regulated principles. But if one develops spontaneous love for Krishna, as exhibited in the activities of those who live in the Vrajabhumi, one attains the platform of Raganuga Bhakti. One who has developed this spontaneous love is eligible for elevation to the platform enjoyed by the inhabitants of Vrajabhumi. In Vrajabhumi, there are no regulated principles set forth for Krishna's service. Rather, everything is carried out in spontaneous, natural love for Krishna.
So dear devotees, how many of us would like to have this spontaneous, natural love for Krishna? Alright, wonderful. We all came to this society so that we could finally attain this particular platform of Bhakti, which is also known as Raganuga Bhakti. But in order to attain Raganuga Bhakti, we'll have to first understand it from a very proper source. We don't want to make any mistakes on this path. And we wish to understand everything from the authentic teachings of Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas. And we also wish to ensure something, that all the acharyas are speaking in one straight line. I hope you're able to understand. Only when we have this assurance that the acharyas are speaking in one straight line and that we are getting the clear message of the Guru Parampara, will we feel confident on this path of Raganuga Bhakti. So dear devotees, once again, a small recap. Sri Rupa Goswami had said, Vaidhi Raganuga Cheti Sadvidha Sadhana Bhida. Sadhan Bhakti is classified into two types. The first one is what? Vaidhi Bhakti. And the second one is Raganuga Bhakti. And dear devotees, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur expresses a concern. In his book entitled Raga Vartma Chandrika, in this book, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur expresses a concern. Please repeat after me. Antaraganuga Vartma Durdarsham Vibhudairapi Hanta means alas. Raganuga Vartma means the path. The path of Raganuga Bhakti is difficult to be seen and understood even by the Vibhuda. Vibhuda has two meanings. One is learned souls, another is even the gods find it difficult to understand which Bhakti? Raganuga Bhakti. Dear devotees. And therefore Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur wrote a manual specifically for explaining this variety of Bhakti. And the name of this manual is written below. What is the name of this manual?
Vartma Chandrika.
Chandrika, moonlight, which illuminates the Vartma, the path of which Bhakti? Raganuga Bhakti, dear devotees. So he wrote a manual so that this can be simplified for all of us who wish to aspire for Goloka Vrindavan. Yesterday I had specified that those individuals who practice only Vaidhi Bhakti, the maximum they can attain
Dwaraka.
Dwarka. Dear devotees, Dwarka is the maximum attainment for them. And I had asked a question yesterday, how many of you wish to attain Dwarka? And I told you everyone will get their own personalized palace. So the offer is still open, dear devotees. Before we start explaining Raganuga Bhakti, how many of us wish to achieve Dwarka and a beautiful palace along with seeing Shri Krishna as the king of Dwarka every single day? Please raise your hands. Okay. There is one brave soul who is raising his hand. Wonderful. We appreciate all moods, right? Difference of opinion, difference of moods is the highlight of Vedic culture. We believe in difference of moods because all masala is not garam masala. This is what we believe in, and definitely even in Raganuga Bhakti we are going to have various moods. But dear devotees, amongst Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire was to propagate one particular type of Bhakti throughout the world. This is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamritam. Please repeat after me. Prema rasa niryasa Karite aswadana Raga marga bhakti loke Karite pracharana Rasika shekhara Krishna Parama karuna Ei dui hetu haite Ichhara udgama. So dear devotees, prema rasa niryasa karite aswadan. The Lord's desire to appear was born from two reasons. Dear devotees, the first reason, the Lord and Sri Krishna wanted to taste the sweet essence of the mellows of love of God. This was his personal desire. And second, he wanted to propagate devotional service in the world on the platform of spontaneous attraction. And can you see the term in the second line? Which term is it? Raganuga Bhakti Pracharan. For Prachar, he selected which Bhakti? Raganuga Bhakti. Dear devotees, so it is very important that at least in the society of devotees, we should have some prachar of what Mahaprabhu wanted. And dear devotees, once again, did Mahaprabhu want to propagate Vaidhi Bhakti or Raganuga Bhakti? Right there in the words of Srila Prabhupada. Thus, he is known as supremely jubilant and the most merciful of all. There are many previous incarnations of Bhagavan who have propagated Vaidhi Bhakti. If you see the teachings of Lord Rishabdev, mainly you will see which variety of Bhakti? Vaidhi Bhakti. Get rid of material desires, always, follow the devotees, follow the regulatory principles, get rid of the miseries, get liberated. 5th canto, 5th chapter. Which bhakti? Vaidhi. Alright. Dear devotees, I think we'll have to do a little compression here so that there are a few devotees coming. So that please make sure you're able to see the screen properly. That's all. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I hope those behind are able to see comfortably. Okay. Hare Krishna. So dear devotees, once again, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal desire is to propagate which form of bhakti? Raga Bhakti. And for this purpose, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared. And all the previous acharyas wish to help Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his particular desire. Both desires they wish to help Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vaidhi Bhakti, yesterday Srila Prabhupada used a term for Vaidhi Bhakti I had specified. Does anybody know what term Prabhupada had used for Vaidhi Bhakti? Obligatory. Obligatory, wonderful. Another term, apprenticeship. So, we know what is apprenticeship, dear devotees?
In training.
Training. So Srila Prabhupada in the quote that I specified yesterday said Vaidhi Bhakti is apprenticeship. And then he said real Bhakti, Para Bhakti is which Bhakti? Raganuga Bhakti. And today we wish to explore that Bhakti, dear devotees. A big question arises in the heart of many devotees that we don't have Rag at this point of time. How can we begin practicing this Bhakti? This is the biggest stumbling block on our path. That we do not feel that we have that Rag in our heart. How do we begin this Bhakti? We have the aspiration for Goloka Vrindavan. We don't want to end up in Dwaraka. I think many of us, except for one maybe in the background. Most of us do not wish to end up in Dwaraka. We wish to be in Goloka Vrindavan. But to be in Goloka Vrindavan, it was specified yesterday that only one variety of Bhakti will work, and that is Raganuga Bhakti. But Raganuga Bhakti needs us to have some taste or some Rag. And that Rag is not yet present with us. So what to do and when should we begin this practice? So if we cannot begin the practice, at least we should begin the aspiration. I hope you are able to understand.
Yes.
At least we should be able to begin the aspiration. And then the question arises when? Because 10 years have passed, and if you ask somebody, can I begin now? They may say, Prabhu, you are not qualified. Right. Come back after 10 years. Alright, I came back after 10 years. Prabhu, can I begin now? No, not qualified. I come back after 10 years. Prabhu, I am having severe health issues, and I am 60 years old now. Can I begin now? No, you are not qualified. Prabhu got recycled in the material world. So, at least the aspiration for Raganuga Bhakti should be present within all of us, and therefore let us hear about who can develop the aspiration for Raganuga Bhakti from one of the strictest acharyas that you have ever seen. Simply by looking at him, you will understand who I am speaking about, dear devotees. If he speaks, all of us will believe. Alright, dear devotees, we will not have any doubts. When he speaks, we will have complete faith in whatever is being mentioned. Ajinkya Prabhu, you are my very dear friend. Alright, Prabhu, kindly read what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada says, slowly but loudly, so that everyone can hear.
All these days we have not spoken about Ashtakaliya Leela, conjugal eightfold pastimes of Radha Krishna. But this is our most confidential asset. This is our only sadhya, perfection.
So I'll give some background. In 1932, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada took Brajamandal Yatra. So they toured all the places of Brajamandal, and Srila Prabhupada himself was also present in this particular yatra. And in this yatra, he noted that about Srila Prabhupada, he likes to hear. Many of us might be remembering, he noted, he likes to hear. In this yatra, at the very end of the yatra, they ended up going to Radhakund. That was the final spot on the yatra. And when he sat with Radha Kund, people were expecting, devotees were expecting that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada will speak something about Vaidhi Bhakti, follow the rules properly so you can get qualified. Instead, he began speaking from Govinda Lilamritam, which is the most esoteric literature of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. A book which people in general do not have access to, neither do they have qualification to. Many of the audience may be thinking what is happening today. In Hindi we say, Suraj kaun si disha se uga hai? Did the sun arise from the west today? Because we were least expecting Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada to speak about Ashtakaliya Leela. See, Rag Bhakti is here. Ashtakaliya is above the ceiling, dear devotees. It's the final perfection of Raganuga Bhakti. So Raga Bhakti is still understandable, but he's speaking about Ashtakaliya Leela and so many in the audience they are confused what is going on. And then he said, but this is our most confidential asset, this is our only sadhya. Then he continues, Prabhu kindly read.
One should not make the mistake of thinking that anartha nivritti, overcoming impediments such as lust, etc., is the prayojan, goal of bhakti. One thinking like this will never enter into artha pravritti, acquiring one's actual need. For this reason, I will now begin speaking about Ashtakaliya Leela.
So one should not make the mistake of thinking that simply 4 regulative principles and getting rid of your anarthas is the goal of life. Because many people are thinking in this life I will only be able to reach up to anartha nivritti. Remaining next life we will continue. So one who is thinking like this will not be able to make actual advancement. This was his very clear statement. These are recorded words that were published in the Gaudiya magazine, English magazine. Dear devotees, he uses 2 terms, anartha nivritti. Anartha nivritti is overcoming negative impediments, and he coins a new term, alright, which is the mirror term of that, artha pravritti. Now this first term is by Srila Rupa Goswami. Anartha nivritti is originally coined by whom? Srila Rupa Goswami. And this new term, artha pravritti, is coined by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So what is artha pravritti? The opposite of anartha nivritti. And then he continues to say, then we will also speak about what is artha pravritti. Prabhu, kindly.
I know that you are not ready to hear it, but we should know that such a transcendental ideal exists within the realm of devotion. Beyond the realm of anartha nivritti is artha pravritti, pure conjugal service to Radha and Krishna.
He defined artha pravritti as something. What is that, dear devotees? Pure conjugal service to Radha and Krishna. I'll make it simpler, dear devotees. He says, I know you are not ready to hear it. He anticipated the audience has doubts about itself. But you should know that such a transcendental ideal exists in our philosophy. So if we can't be eligible for it, at least how many of us wish to aspire for it? Please raise your hands. Wonderful. The aspiration is there, so our hearts are in the proper place. And therefore, dear devotees, anartha nivritti is getting rid of negatives, and artha pravritti is developing taste for the positive aspect of which bhakti? Radha bhakti. So at least we wish to cultivate some artha pravritti, and that is why we are assembled here. Then he continues, dear devotees. Please read, Prabhu.
This is transcendental reality. If we do not know of this transcendental realm, then all of our efforts may end in nirvisheshavad, impersonalism.
Alright. This is transcendental reality, and if we don't understand this, then all our efforts, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex, no, neti, and you know what neti is known as, dear devotees? Nirvisheshva, impersonalism. If everything is neti, not this, not that, then where is the positive? Please read ahead, Prabhu.
Do not let your day pass in simply trying for anartha nivritti. Artha pravritti is also necessary. Anartha nivritti is necessary only until artha pravritti has started. When Artha Pravritti is present, Anartha Nivritti becomes unimportant and Artha Pravritti becomes prominent.
So dear devotees, the best way of getting your anartha nivritti done is to start what?
Artha Pravritti.
Which means we should have some affection towards Bhagwan, we should have some idea of what genuine affection towards Bhagwan looks like. A doubt still arises. Still he has not specified who can do it and who cannot do it. Because after 10 years I approached Tejas Prabhu, Prabhu, can I do Tejas Prabhu? Tejas Prabhu says no. He's not like-minded to me. Yesterday I asked him if he wants to go to Vaikuntha, he said yes. He's very, very dear to me. After 10 years, I go to him, he will again say no. So after some time, I stopped going to him. So I need to have a fixed yardstick when I can begin. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada knows that people will keep delaying it forever. Therefore, a fixed yardstick is established, dear devotees. Here is his final conclusive statement. Please read, Prabhu.
Those who have chanted Harinam for 15 or 20 years should know such things. The beginners need not hear these topics or they will misunderstand. These topics are for certain audiences, not for all.
Alright, dear devotees, those who have chanted Harinam for 15 or 20 years should know such things. But he was speaking on which Leela, dear devotees? Ashtak Aliya Leela. After how many years, dear devotees? 15 years. Achha, please raise your hands. How many of you have been chanting Hare Krishna for 10-15 years? And don't be humble, I am still trying to chant. No, not. How many have put your hand in the bead bag for 10 years? Please raise your hand. The majority of the audience belongs to this category. Dear devotees, by this time, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada said, we should at least have had a theoretical understanding of Raganuga Bhakti all the way up to Ashtakaliya Leela. So we are in ISKCON, so we are, bringing it a little down, the devotees' hands. So at least we should have some theoretical understanding of Raganuga Bhakti. Alright? A yardstick has been set. How many years, dear devotees? 15 years for what? Which Leela? For understanding the basics of Raganuga Bhakti, can we bring it a little down, dear devotees? So let's bring it a little down. Those who have spent a decade should know. Right? And those who have not yet spent a decade, they should continue to practice which Bhakti? Vaidhi Bhakti. Because for most individuals, Vaidhi Bhakti is the standard route to take. Unless you have some scars coming from previous lives, that you immediately have that desire and the rag to take to which Bhakti? Raganuga Bhakti. Otherwise, if we are not feeling any rag in general in the heart, then the default option for us is which Bhakti? Vaidhi Bhakti. First decade should be spent in strictly following the injunctions of Shastra. Then one should definitely inquire into the path of Raga Bhakti. Dear devotees, we discussed what is Rag yesterday. Sri Jiva Goswami had said. Does anybody remember what is the definition of Rag? Rag is the natural, innate, deep attachment that a materialist sense gratifier feels for objects of sense gratification. How many of us have experienced this Rag? Wonderful. Alright, half the qualification is already there. So dear devotees, what it is to feel that deep, intense, passionate attachment for something or someone. Alright? So that feeling in the material world is also called as Rag. In the Gita, Krishna says Rag and Dvesh. There are two terms which Krishna uses in the Gita, Rag and Dvesh. So that is the material Rag which Sri Krishna is speaking about. But in the domain of Bhakti also there is Rag. So Sri Jiva Goswami says the natural deep attachment that a sense enjoyer has towards experiences of sense enjoyment is known as Rag. But this is Rag in the material world or the spiritual world? Material world. And for example, the eyes have such attachment towards beautiful objects. But if a devotee has such natural, deep attachment towards Bhagavan, then such attachment is also known as what? Rag. Yesterday I specified that natural, innate, deep attachment for Bhagavan is not present with any of us. It is present only with one category of entities. Does anybody know? The Vrajavasis. And when we say Vrajavasi, dear devotees, I said that the eternal associates of Sri Krishna, who appeared with Sri Krishna and who disappeared with Sri Krishna. Those are the specific Vrajavasis I am speaking about. Otherwise, we will start, somebody may misinterpret that a Vrajavasi in 2025. A Vrajavasi in 2025 can become a Raga Anuga. What can they become? Raga Anuga. But Raga, that genuine, deep, intense attachment for Bhagavan, it is present only with one set of entities, and those are the eternal associates of Sri Krishna. So whenever I use the term Vrajavasis, I am referring to specific Vrajavasis. Please remember, I am referring to the eternal associates of Sri Krishna who appeared with him and who disappeared with him. Dear devotees, now let us begin understanding Raganuga Bhakti. Dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami says, before understanding Raganuga Bhakti, please let us learn something else first. Raganuga Vivekartham Adau Ragatmikochyate Raganuga Vivekartham. Wonderful, all of you wish to understand Raganuga Bhakti. Vivekartham, for clearly explaining Raganuga Bhakti, first I will explain, Rupa Goswami says, another bhakti which is called as, please repeat after me, Ragatmika. What is Ragatmika Bhakti? Because only after understanding Ragatmika Bhakti can we understand which bhakti? Raganuga Bhakti. First and foremost, let us understand what is Raga Atmika. We know what is Rag now. I hope you are able to understand. Rag is that deep, intense attachment towards Bhagavan. That is called as what? Rag. And Atmika, Rag has become their Atma. Rag has become their very life and soul. Dear devotees, which entities have Rag as their very life and soul? The associates of Sri Krishna. So the bhakti which the associates of Sri Krishna, for example, Nanda Maharaj, Mother Yashoda, Sridham, Sudam, Madhumangal, Chitrak, Patrak, all these associates, the bhakti which they render is called as which bhakti, dear devotees? Rag Atmika Bhakti. So Rag Atmika means replete with Rag. Rag has become the very Atma of such bhakti, the very soul of such bhakti. And these bhaktas are also known as which bhaktas? Rag Atmika bhaktas. So please tell me, dear devotees, in this life can we become Rag Atmika bhaktas? No. Have we taken birth with Sri Krishna? No. Do we consider him as our blood relative? No. Not naturally, because we did not grow up with Sri Krishna. Only after taking birth with Sri Krishna will a blood relationship be established, and then we will have the ego. And that ego, real ego, is needed. That we know this person, he is from our family. I hope you are able to understand. Such devotees are known as which devotees? Ragatmika. But can we at least try to follow in the footsteps of the Ragatmika devotees? So those who follow in the footsteps are known as what? Anuga. And those devotees become known as what? Raganuga. So in this life, dear devotees, can we become Ragatmika or Raganuga?
Raganuga.
This is the maximum limit that we can reach in this life. Alright? When we attain perfection, and the Acharyas say, if somebody attains prema and on the path of Raganuga Bhakti, the next life they will take birth along with Sri Krishna in a material world where his pastimes are beginning. That birth will not have any material pains because you will be under the cover of Yogamaya. Under the cover of Yogamaya, you will not experience any material pains, but you will experience first time, dear devotees, that Sri Krishna is your family member. That you belong to Gopajati. Gopajati means you belong to a family of cowherds. And for the first time you will have that blood relationship with Sri Krishna, and then finally we will be known as which bhaktas, dear devotees? Ragatmika. In this life we can only become Ragatmika. Alright, I am clarifying the concepts so that we never have any doubts. Please remember these concepts forever. Because tomorrow if we forget the difference between Ragatmika and Raganuga, it will be very difficult to clarify. This is directly from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the devotees. Now, the devotees who are Ragatmika Bhakta, Sri Rupa Goswami clarifies here about the Ragatmika Bhakta. So it is verified that he is speaking about the eternal Vrajavasis. Alright? Please repeat. Ishte Swarasiki Raga
Ishte Swarasiki Raga
Parama Vishtata Bhave
Parama Vishtata Bhave
Tanmaya Bhave Bhakti
Tanmaya Bhave Bhakti
Satra Ragatmikodita
Satra Ragatmikodita
Virajantim Abhivyaktam
Virajantim Abhivyaktam
Vrajavasi Janadishu
Vrajavasi Janadishu
Ishte Swarasiki Raga. Swaras means your own taste, deep, innate, natural taste. Somebody has swaras for being a parent. Deep taste for being a parent. Somebody has that deep taste for being a friend. These are eternal associates of Sri Krishna. They have what is known as, please repeat, swaras. Swaras means their own ras. I hope you are able to understand. So Swarasiki Raga, their deep attachment in their own ras, Param Avishtata Bhaved. It is intense rag towards Bhagavan. Tanmaya Bhaved Bhakti. And that Bhakti, dear devotees, is called as which Bhakti? Ragatmika Bhakti. And Virajantim Abhivyaktam Vrajavasi Janadishu. It is only manifest and expressed clearly in Vrajavasi Jana. And what is the meaning of Vrajavasi Jana, dear devotees? Eternal associates of Sri Krishna. It is only present in those eternal associates of Sri Krishna. And now that we know Ragatmika Bhakti, then dear devotees, we will know what is Raganuga Bhakti. Please repeat. Ragatmikam Anusrita
Ragatmikam Anusrita
Yasa Raganugochate
Yasa Raganugochate
Ragatmikam Anusrita. That Bhakti who follows in the footsteps of Ragatmika Bhakti is known as which Bhakti, dear devotees? Raganuga Bhakti. Alright, wonderful, dear devotees. Sri Rupa Goswami brought us to the point of Raganuga Bhakti. We learned from the perfect source, zero mistakes. I hope you are able to understand.
Yes.
Okay, so in order to have Raganuga Bhakti, we need to follow in the footsteps of which Bhakti, dear devotees? Ragatmika. And Ragatmika Bhaktas are only one set of individuals, the eternal associates of Sri Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, who appear time to time in Bhauma Vrindavan, in this material world. Dear devotees, now in the previous talk I specified eligibility for Vaidhi Bhakti. And eligibility was negative if rag is not present. And if you follow the strict dictations of what, dear devotees?
Shastras.
Then you are qualified for which Bhakti?
Vaidhi
Bhakti.
Alright. Now let's have eligibility for Raganuga Bhakti. Who is eligible for practicing Raganuga Bhakti? Sri Rupa Goswami says, Ragatmikaika Nishthaye
Ragatmikaika Nishthaye
Vrajavasi Janadayah
Vrajavasi Janadaya
Tesham Bhavaptaye Lubdho
Tesham Bhavaptaye Lubdho
Bhaved Atradhikaravan
Bhaved Atradhikaravan
Ragatmika Eka Nishthaye. There are those devotees who are Ragatmika. And who are they? Second line he says. Who are they? Vrajavasi. But Tesham Bhava, their mood, Aptaye, for attaining, Lubdho, one who is greedy. I hope you are able to understand. One who is greedy for attaining their mood. Bhaved, he or she becomes, Atra, in this Ragatmika Bhakti, Adhikarvan, he or she becomes Adhikari. Ajinkya Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
The eternal Vrajavasis are exclusively dedicated to Ragatmika Bhakti. A sadhaka who has lobha, intense eagerness to attain such a mood of the eternal Vrajavasis is eligible for practicing Raganuga Bhakti.
Alright. Dear devotees, is this definition negative or positive? Positive. And the definition of Vaidhi Bhakti was negative. If you don't have rag, you fall back into which Bhakti? Vaidhi. But still follow Shastra. If you don't follow Shastra, it will be Utpat. Shruti, Smriti, Puranadi, Pancharatra Vidindina. Is it Utpat? It will be disturbance. But Raganuga Bhakti is defined positively. Dear devotees, I have highlighted the qualification in red color, and there is only one term that you need to remember for your entire life. This is the qualification for Raganuga Bhakti. In English, I have highlighted. What is that, dear devotees? Lobha. Lobha, how have I translated it? Intense eager. Some translate as intense greed. Greed for what? Money? Krishna? Please repeat after me. Intense greed for attaining the mood of a specific eternal associate of Shri Krishna. That is Lobha. I hope you are able to understand, dear devotees. It's a very razor sharp definition. Don't forget it, because tomorrow we water down. What is Lobha? Greed. Greed for what? Greed for completing your rounds. Don't mistake the definition for something else. Greed, Lobha is intense greed for attaining a specific mood. Whose mood, dear devotees? The eternal associates, or in short, you can say the mood of the Ragatmika Bhaktas. Alright? If you remember this detail, you will never make a mistake about understanding Raganuga Bhakti. So, dear devotees, the only qualification for Raganuga Bhakti can be summed up in one term. What is that term, dear devotees? Lobha. And Lobha is greed for attaining the mood of an eternal associate of Shri Krishna. I am repeatedly saying this so that we remember. Okay. Now, dear devotees, again the question is, how will Lobha arise? So we don't have Raga, but at least we are supposed to have what? Lobha. Now, question is, how will Lobha arise? So many answers are given, Continue to practice. One fine day, Lobha will arise. Dear devotees, many answers are given as encouragement. Yesterday, I was answering the query of Prabhupada Priya Devi, and I said sometimes parents give some encouragement. But then we ultimately come to know that parents were giving some encouragement, but the actual truth lies on a higher platform. So when we look in depth the entire subject matter, our acharyas say Lobha is natural, not artificial. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, please repeat after me. Nahi kenachit shastra drishyam lobha kriyate nahi kenachit shastra drishyam lobha kriyate. You cannot get Lobha simply by understanding what? Shastra. Acha, Shastra was requisite for which bhakti, dear devotees? I hope you are able to understand the direction he is pointing in. By understanding Vaidhi Bhakti properly, there is no guarantee that you will have what? Lobha. Rag will come later. First we need to have what? Lobha. At least the aspiration, deep aspiration for that. And then he says, dear devotees, Napi lobhaniya vastu praptau swasya yogya yogyatva vicharaha kopi udbhavati. And if somebody has Lobha, then neither does any doubt ever arise of one's qualification or disqualification in attaining the object of one's Lobha. I'll make it simple for you, dear devotees. He's saying, if you have a doubt whether I have Lobha or not, then you don't have it. It's like asking a question, am I in love or am I not in love? If you are having the doubt, am I in love or am I not in love? You're clearly not in love. Acharyas often give examples from the material world as specified yesterday. So, a person who actually falls in love in the material world, he doesn't have any doubts that I am experiencing love. Similarly, a person who is experiencing Lobha will have zero doubts that I am experiencing Lobha. And once you are experiencing Lobha, don't go on a platform and say, yes, today I experienced Lobha. How many want to experience the same? It is to be kept within your heart. It's your private relationship with Shri Krishna. It cannot be practiced on a mass level. On a mass level, one type of bhakti can be practiced. The previous one, which bhakti can be practiced? Raganuga bhakti is not for the masses. Raganuga bhakti is only for those who have developed the one and only one qualification for Raganuga bhakti. What is that qualification? Lobha. Wonderful. And lobha is the intense greed to attain
The mood of
eternal Ragatmika associate of Sri Krishna. Wonderful. Now everything is in place. We are not making a single mistake till now. Forget a single detail and then mistakes will begin. Dear devotees, Kintu lobhaniya vastuni shrute drishteva swataiva lobha utpadyate. On the contrary, when one hears or sees the object of one's lobha, the innate lobha arises naturally. When the devotee hears, Sri Krishna just came out of the waters of the Yamuna, his hair fully wet, dripping with the dark waters of the Yamuna. Sri Krishna sat down on the banks of the Yamuna, tied his hair, put a peacock feather on his head, took the flute and started playing the fifth note on the flute under the full moon, under the Kadamba tree. On hearing this, dear devotees, naturally, those who are qualified will experience lobha. I hope you are able to understand. It will come naturally. You don't need to develop it artificially. There is no mechanical process for developing it. No mechanical process for developing it. I have to say it from here because I can't give you comfortable lies. The previous acharyas have said this, and it is my duty to speak as it is. But to some of us, it may come as a rude shock. No, I had a contract with Sri Krishna. 16 plus 4 multiplied by 50 years, then I should have had lobha. No. It is not going to work that way. It's a relationship, and you cannot reduce a relationship into a mechanical formula. Can you reduce your material relationships into a mechanical formula? No. So you cannot reduce your relationship with Sri Krishna in a mechanical formula. That is not going to happen. You will have to put your heart in it. You will have to have lobha. But still, the biggest question is, how will lobha arise? Yes. Dear devotees, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is very merciful. And he tells us there are two possibilities. Yeah. Possibilities, no guarantee. I am making it very clear. Because once again we'll make a formula for lobha. That's not going to happen. Please repeat. Sacha Bhagavat Kripa Hetuko Anuragi Bhakta Kripa Hetukas Sheti Vividha. Says lobha is of two types. First, lobha arising due to mercy of Bhagavan. The rarest of the rarest case. Bhagavan was in a good mood today. Bhagavan thought, "Arey, Tejas Prabhu, what are you doing?" Without lobha, chalo, take lobha.
very good.
Very rare possibility, dear devotees. Our hopes are hanging from the second possibility. 99.999% lobha arising due to the mercy of an Raga devotee. So dear devotees, please tell me, which option are you favoring, first or second? Wonderful. Because last I remember Bhagavan was seen in Dwapar Yuga. Missing since Dwapar Yuga. But there is one person whom you can see face to face, talk face to face, and you can have your heart rubbed with some of the emotions that are present in their heart. And that is the existing Raganuga devotee. In association with them, either Diksha or Shiksha, one of the two. I hope you are able to understand. Either Diksha or Shiksha, one of the two. It is best if Diksha Guru gives that Shiksha. That is the ideal case. And if that is not possible, at least we should have one. Which Guru? Shiksha Guru. And that Shiksha Guru the Diksha Guru should agree, yes, you can take Shiksha from this person. And if you take Shiksha from such a person, you are all set to go. In Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's personal life, although he is a Nitya Siddha, but still for his Leela he demonstrated. Did he take most of his inspiration from his Diksha Guru, Sri Bipin Bihari Goswami, or from his Shiksha Guru?
Shiksha Guru.
Who was his Shiksha Guru? Sri Jagannath
Das
Das
Babaji.
So, for all of us also, one of the two things can happen. Either Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru. The best combination is when the Diksha Guru gives Shiksha. So you don't have to go for separate verification or separate permission. Alright, so this is what is very important to know. Now, dear devotees, Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, this categorization, please remember, Lobha arises due to two reasons. First is by mercy of Bhagavan, Sri Krishna. Second is by mercy of Raganuga devotee. Now, Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur says there is another categorization that we should also understand about Lobha. He says, Rati va Lobha dui prakar, kshanik u naisargika. Lobha can also be categorized in another way, in two types. Please repeat. Kshanik Lobha.
Kshanik Lobha.
Momentarily. Sometimes I felt, wow, this katha was nice. I felt, wow, I have Lobha today. Then I went home, slept, woke up, all washed out. This is known as which Lobha, dear devotees? Momentary Lobha. So what he's trying to say is, if you on a particular day you are feeling that I got Lobha, wait. Give it some time. Right? Don't tell it to anybody. Tejas bro, I got Lobha today. Do you want Lobha from me? $10,000 only. So dear devotees, it doesn't work that way. Alright? We want the second type of Lobha. Please repeat after me. Naisargika Lobha.
Naisargika Lobha.
Naisargika is natural, steady Lobha. Dear devotees, we want the second variety. This is in Dashamula Tattva, 10th Pariched. Alright? And I have given the original Bangla there. Rati va Lobha dui prakar. Kshanik u Naisargika. So we don't want Kshanik Lobha. We want Naisargika. We want innate, deep Lobha. At least Lobha let us have natural. If not Raga, let us have at least natural Lobha. Then he continues to say, dear devotees, Ajinkya Prabhu, please read.
Many sadhakas hear the character and pastimes of Nanda Maharaj, Vatsalya, Subal Sakha, Sakhya, and attain specific delight in hearing such narrations. Sometimes they even show some momentary lobha or bhava. However, such lobha or bhava does not persist and is thus known as kshanik, momentary.
Yeah, so you will see devotees, I went to this katha today, Prabhu, I felt like, I was there in the Leela. And I felt like interacting with Krishna in the form of my son. And then after a few days, he's asking, so what about the stock exchange, And then after a few days, he says, Vatsalya Ras is also good, isn't it? So dear devotees, this is Kshanik Lobha. Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, please read Prabhu.
This type of bhava or lobha will not do. At this time, it will be necessary to see the specific rasa, dasya, sakhya, vatsalya or madhurya in which the sadhaka is naturally inclined.
So if you have come in contact with the Raganuga Bhakta, and if Lobha has genuinely developed, you should have accepted that Raganuga Bhakta as Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru by now, and now it is needed that the Guru should check. Here is where the permission of the Guru is needed for performing Raganuga Bhakti, because the Guru should check whether this person is whimsical or is he really steady. Alright, so at this point of time it is needed that the Guru should approve. And dear devotees, then he continues to say, please read.
Only after checking the natural inclination of the sadhaka will the Guru ask them to follow a particular bhava. Otherwise, an incorrectly, immaturely ascribed bhava will not persist. It is also incorrect to say that all sadhakas are potentially eligible for Madhurya Ras.
Dear devotees, otherwise if by ourselves we decide, this I think Sakyaras. Alright? Incorrectly, immaturely, then such bhav will not persist. Therefore, dear devotees, we need the guidance of a what? Of whom? Guru. Diksha or Shiksha Guru, who is himself of which bhakta, dear devotees? Alright? So that we need. And that Raganuga Bhakta cannot be selected by popular choice. 10 people said he's a Raganuga Bhakta, so I believe. No. Bhagavan has to give that indication in the heart that this person is that specific Guru. Only when Bhagavan gives that indication in the heart, only at that point of time will we come to understand. Dear devotees, it's very important. Then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says it's also incorrect to say all sadhakas are eligible only for which ras? Sometimes we make institutionalized Madhurya ras also. Alright? I want the best. And the best is which ras? So everybody should also follow which ras? Dear devotees, let's not try to institutionalize rasa. Let rasa remain individual. Okay? Please read ahead, Prabhu.
Gurus who aren't capable of determining eligibility of the disciple in a particular bhava should clearly instruct the disciple to take shelter of another capable guru. Besides taking shelter of a bona fide capable guru, there is no other way for the disciple.
Dear devotees, confirmation of the principle. Besides taking shelter of a home, Guru. And the Guru should himself be situated on which path? Raga. There is no other way for the disciple. Dashamul Tattva, Dasham Pariched, the final Pariched, 10th Pariched, Dashamul Tattva. Dear devotees, he is specifying this. And what Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur says has been written after attaining the stage of Samadhi. He himself is in the stage of Samadhi, dear devotees, and he is writing his mature experiences. Don't fall for anything less. I hope you are able to understand. Don't fall for anything less. Except 24 karat gold. Nothing less. Nothing less. Dear devotees, how many of you want the highest fruit from the tallest tree? Please raise your hands. Dear devotees, therefore, don't select 18 karat gold as 24 karat gold. You have to have 24 karat gold on this path. Take your time for determining your own lobha, also for determining a guru who can instruct you on this path. Don't be in a hurry. Alright, dear devotees? So, once a little lobha comes, wonderful. Now this is a theoretical situation. As soon as we are hearing about a specific mood, we are having that hankering, I wish to attain this mood. So congratulations, all of you have developed what, dear devotees? Not Kshanik Lobha. Which Lobha, dear devotee? The Raganuga devotee was merciful, and by his mercy, by his constant contact, you got nice Sarvik Lobha. Can we imagine ourselves in that day, dear devotees? When on simply hearing about Bhagavan's pastimes, we will be attracted to a very specific mood, dear devotees, very specific. Our mind will not be flickering from one day Sakhya, another day Vatsalya, third day Madhurya. Very specific mood will be decided within the heart, nice Sarvik Lobha. Now what to do, how to nourish it. Now Sri Rupa Goswami says, now that you have attained, now perform Raganuga Sadhana, dear devotees. Please repeat after me. Krishnam Smaranjanam Chasya
Krishnam Smaranjanam Chasya
Preshtham Nija Samihitam
Preshtham Nija Samiham
Tattat Katharataschasav
Tattat Katharataschasav
Kuryad Vasam Vraje Sada
Kuryad Vasam Vraje Sada.
Krishnam Smaran. Smaran, dear devotees, is in Sanskrit grammar Shatra suffix while constantly remembering. I hope you are able to understand. It is continuous present tense according to Sanskrit grammar. Krishnam Smaran. While continuously remembering whom, dear devotees? Krishna. And not only, it's only between me and Krishna, nobody else. Everybody get out of the way. No, not like that. Janam cha asya. Also the jana. What is the meaning of jana, dear devotees? The associate, eternal associate. So there are millions of associates. Which associate should I remember? Preshtham nija samihitam. That associate for whose mood you have developed what? Lobha. I hope you are able to understand. Those specific associates for whose mood you have developed Lobha. So remembering Krishna along with those specific associates for whose mood you have developed Lobha. Tat tat katharataha. immerse yourself in that katha fully. Kuryad Vasam, and always reside where dear devotees Vraja. In the commentary, Sri Jiva Goswami says, if you are not capable of residing in Vraja at this point of time, reside not through the body, reside through the mind. Because Raganuga Bhakti is mainly performed through one sense organ. Which sense organ is that? Mind and the heart. These are the two sense organs for performing Raganuga Bhakti. Alright, Vaidhi Bhakti is mainly performed through the external senses. Raganuga Bhakti is mainly performed through the mind. Right? So, in Vaidhi Bhakti, the motivation is, I wish to get rid of suffering, I wish to attain the spiritual world. Raganuga Bhakti, the motivation completely changes. Dear devotees, let us chant one Mahamantra as a Vaidhi Bhakta. Alright, dear devotees, which many of us already are. We want to go back home, back to God, isn't it? Material world is painful, isn't it? So let's get liberated quickly by chanting Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So this was the same limbo of bhakti through which path, dear devotees? Now, dear devotees, let us remember that Sri Krishna on the banks of the Yamuna just came out of the waters. His hair was dripping with the wonderful crystal-like dark waters of the Yamuna. Dear devotees, he sat down under the full moon in the Kadamba tree, under the Kadamba tree. He tied his hair, put his peacock feather, put his flute, and started playing on the fifth note. And dear devotees, the Vrajavasis, the Gopis are watching him at this point of time. We also aspire to have this particular mood. With this mood, dear devotees, let us chant one Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Did you feel some affection, dear devotees? This affection is needed for Raganuga Bhakti. Otherwise, it will not happen. The activity remains the same, but the difference is in the mind. All the difference is in the mind. While performing parikrama of temple, while paying obeisances, while chanting japa, while uttering kirtan, while cooking prasadam, while serving the deities, in all the activities, dear devotees, the motivation changes completely in Raganuga Bhakti. And Raganuga Bhakti is mainly dependent on one limb. I have highlighted that limb in red. Which limb is that? Smaranam is the life and soul of Raganuga Bhakti. Please read the translation, Ajinkya Prabhu.
While performing smarana of Krishna and his specific associates dear to one's mood, a person fully immersed in those specific narrations favorable to one's lobha should reside always in Vraja.
Is it required always to reside physically? No. But at least you should reside through your mind. And which Vraja, dear devotees? The Vraja that we see in 2025, which is full of concrete. The Vraja that has been described in the literature of the Goswamis. The Vraja that has been described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the Vraja you have to reside in. Even if you are physically staying in Vrindavan, you have to understand that the actual Vrindavan is the one which is described in Srimad Bhagavatam and the literature of the 6 Goswamis. So that is the Vraja that Sri Rupa Goswami is speaking of. Alright? Dear devotees, I will give you a very small hint about this. Very near to Vrindavan is a place which is maintained almost like it was 5,000 years ago how Vrindavan was. Alright? Some of you want to see an approximate, glimpse of what it was. Very near is Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary. Alright, if you go to Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary, which is very near, it is a complete forest and ecosystem within itself, and you can get a small glimpse. Although, it is Vrindavan is completely different and spiritual. But today you can go and see Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary, you will see similar environment, dear devotees, that was present 5,000 years ago. And if you can't go to Bharatpur, there is always YouTube, you can search and dear devotees. So now it is very important for all of us to also understand all of this was given by Srila Rupa Goswami. But we also need confirmation from Srila Prabhupada. Did Prabhupada approve for all of us? Yes or no? Dear devotees. So many might still be having this anxiety. So let's clear that anxiety once and forever, because sometimes devotees will come and say Prabhupada never approved this thing. I hope you're able to understand. Then we have to politely yet firmly tell them, please read Prabhupada's books. Yesterday I said, one of the big problems is we don't read whose books, dear devotees? Prabhupada. And then we have our own Prabhupada in our mind. So, my Prabhupada never approved Raganuga. So, when we are carrying that image of Srila Prabhupada in our mind, it simply means that we have not read his books properly. When we say Srila Prabhupada gave everything, does it mean everything minus Raganuga Bhakti? No. Dear devotees, it means everything with Raganuga Bhakti. Srila Prabhupada says, Ajinkya Prabhu, you have to help me. This is from Nectar of Instruction, a book that newcomers should read. 8th verse purport. Prabhu, kindly read it.
In the neophyte stage, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. This is called Shravan Dasha, the stage of hearing.
Let's begin from the basics. When we are a new devotee, we should always engage in hearing what?
Krishna Katha.
I am surprised there are some devotees who say you should not read Krishna Katha as a new devotee. And those same devotees on the next day go out on the street and distribute Krishna book to a newcomer. Let's have some consistency, na? That newcomer, when he'll open Krishna book, if he opens in the middle of it, the devotees, so he will hear pure Krishna Katha from Srila Prabhupada. The devotees. So even a newcomer should every day have direct contact with which Katha? Krishna Katha. And by Krishna Katha, Vrindavan Krishna Katha, because we have the habit of diluting the Acharya's words. Direct which Katha? Vrindavan Krishna Katha. Or at least the Katha which is given in 10th canto. Alright? This is called first stage. Even a neophyte should do this. And which dasha is it called, dear devotees? Shravana dasha. Please continue, Prabhu.
By constantly hearing the transcendental holy name of Krishna and hearing of his transcendental form, qualities and pastimes, one can attain to the stage of acceptance called Varana Dasha.
Wonderful. Varana dasha. Dear devotees, even half a syllable is not meaningless in Prabhupada's purpose. So I am telling you. Because sometimes, Krishna Katha, for a new devotee, you should only hear name of Krishna, nothing else. That is Krishna Katha for a new devotee. Somebody may propagate this misconception. So in order to counteract that misconception, Prabhupada says, by constantly hearing the transcendental holy name of Krishna and hearing of his transcendental form, qualities and pastimes, even a new devotee can gradually attain to the second stage. What is the name? Varana. Varana comes from acceptance. The devotee accepts a guru on the path of Raganuga Bhakti. The devotee accepts Krishna as the sole goal of his life. Dear devotees, congratulations, you have attained which dasha, dear devotees? It should not have taken 2 decades. Alright, it should have been very quick, provided we followed the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. Dear devotees, further, Prabhupada says, please read Ajinkya.
When one attains this stage, he becomes attached to the hearing of Krishna Katha.
When one attains this stage, you will become attracted to hearing which Katha, dear devotees? Krishna Katha. Wonderful. Now this initial affection is present. Please read.
When one is able to chant in ecstasy, he attains the stage of Smaranavastha, the stage of remembering.
So when he starts chanting, like we did one Hare Krishna Mahamantra on the Raganuga's character, when one is able to chant in ecstasy, he attains the stage of Smaran Avastha. Avastha is Dasha, Smaran Dasha, dear devotees. Shravan Dasha, Varan Dasha, Smaran Dasha. The stage of remembering. Now in this stage also, you will start remembering Krishna, you will progress gradually in this stage. Please read.
Recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remembrance and trance are the 5 items of progressive Krishna Smaran.
Dear devotees, you will have to go through 5 stages. And these are 5 stages of what? Krishna Smaran. I told you Raganuga Bhakti progresses through 1 limb. Which limb is that, dear devotees? Smaran. There is no escape. There are devotees who shortcut, without Smaran, just by Kirtan I will do. You will need to invest your Smaran. Dear devotees. Krishnam Smaran. Sri Rupa Goswami said, Krishnam Smaran. You will have to invest your Smaran. Without investing your heart, it is not going to work, dear devotees. Now, Srila Prabhupada says something. Please read, Prabhu.
At first, remembrance of Krishna may be interrupted at intervals, but later remembrance proceeds uninterrupted.
In the beginning, there may be some interruption, but later you get practice. It is a culture of remembrance. It becomes uninterrupted. Please read, Prabhu.
When remembrance is uninterrupted, it becomes concentrated and is called meditation.
This is third stage. First stage was interrupted remembrance. Second was uninterrupted. Third is called meditation. Okay.
When meditation expands and becomes constant, it is called anusmriti. By uninterrupted and unceasing anusmriti, one enters the stage of samadhi or spiritual trance.
A day will come when only Krishna and his associates will stay in the mind. Everything else of the material world will be completely blocked out. That will be the final stage, dear devotees. What is it called, dear devotees? Samadhi. Our aim is to attain this stage before quitting our body. Alright? Anta kale cha mam eva japan pashan srinvan mam eva smaran. The condition of death has been placed on smaran, the devotees. So it's very important that we attain mam eva, only me. And only me is attained on which stage, dear devotees? Samadhi. That is very important to understand. And finally, after that, what happens? Please read, Ajinkya Prabhu.
After smarana dasha or samadhi has fully developed, the soul comes to understand his original constitutional position. At that time, he can perfectly and clearly understand his eternal relationship with Krishna. That is called sampatti dasha, the perfection of life.
Dear devotees, when we will be in Samadhi and we will see Shri Krishna Leela in our Samadhi, in the mood of Raganuga Bhakti, after having attained Lobha, dear devotees, in that Samadhi, Shri Krishna will personally come and address you with your eternal name. How many of you would like to get your eternal name directly from Shri Krishna? So this, dear devotees, is how the paragraph began with in the neophyte stage, and it ended with Sampatti Dasha, the perfection of life. So Srila Prabhupada said, and I am very happy that Srila Prabhupada said, that you have to go through Smaran, and this Smaran is the factor which helps you perfect your Raganuga Bhakti. Dear devotees, I would like to also very quickly specify what Srila Prabhupada says from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada says Chaitanya Charitamrita advises those who are neophytes to give up all kinds of motivated desires and simply engage in regulative devotional service of the Lord according to directions of what?
Scripture.
This is which bhakti, dear devotees?
Vaidisha.
Wonderful. In this way, a neophyte can gradually develop attachment for Krishna's name, fame, form, qualities. This was Shravan Dasha and Varan Dasha, dear devotees. When one has developed some attachment, he can spontaneously serve the lotus feet of Krishna even without following the regulative principle. Okay, let's hold it here. Dear devotees. I will explain this in a short while. Okay? Don't leave. Dear devotees, Prabhupada says this stage is called as which bhakti? Raga bhakti or spontaneous love. At that stage, the devotee can follow in the footsteps of one of the eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. What is the technical name of such associate?
Raga.
Dear devotee, wonderful. All of you understood. This is called as which bhakti, dear devotees? Raga bhakti. Raganuga bhakti or spontaneous devotional service can be executed in Shantaras. When one aspires to be Krishna's cows, take flute in the hand or the flower around Krishna's neck. Side note, dear devotees, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected Shantaras, so we will not be following this. Alright? Therefore, my name is not Hari Parshad Shant, Hari Parshad Das. In Dasyaras, one follows in the footsteps of the servants like whom? Chitra, Patra, Raghu. These are servants of Vrindavana, they are not Dwarka. Alright? Vrindavans are pure Vrindavan. In friendly Sakhyaras, one can become a friend like Baldev, Sridham or Sudama. In Vatsalya Ras, characterized by parental affection, one can become like Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. And in Madhurya Ras, characterized by conjugal love, one can become like Srimati Radharani or her lady friends such as Lalita and her serving maids Manjaris like Rupa and Rati. Dear devotees, please repeat after me. This is the essence of all instruction. In the matter of devotional service. So dear devotees, please tell me, did Prabhupada teach only Vaidhi Bhakti? No. Right there in Nectar of Instruction, verse 8 purport, and you can verify and make it available. All that, huh? All of you have Prabhupada's books. So dear devotees, this is Srila Prabhupada speaking about Raganuga Bhakti. We are very grateful to Sri Rupa Goswami who kindly gave us this path of Raganuga Bhakti. Prabhupada said you can stop following the regulations after that. I said, wait, hold. Sri Rupa Goswami says, same limbs but different mood. Please repeat after me. Shravano Kirtanadini Vaida Bhakti Uditani tu Yanyangani Chatanyatra Vigyayani Manishibhi Shravan Utkirtanadini. Almost all limbs of bhakti such as Shravan, Kirtan, etc. that are applicable to Vaidhi Bhakti are also applicable to which Bhakti? Same limbs but different mood. I hope I gave an example of one Mahamantra in this way, one Mahamantra in that way. Cooking in this way, my God, I have to cook for 500 devotees today. Right? And cooking in that way, I aspire to cook like Sri Radharani cooks. I aspire to cook in her footsteps. I aspire to cook like Mother Yashoda cooks. I hope you are able to understand a big difference between the moods in the same acts of devotion. I told you, Rag Bhakti is mainly executed through the mind and the heart. Externally, you will remain the same. Don't let anybody know. It's your personal relationship with Sri Krishna. And do you advertise your relationship with your spouse to everyone? So, dear devotees, don't advertise your relationship with Sri Krishna. Keep it very secret with you. Very secret with you. With Guru, the Guru has the one who is authorized. Guru has authorized. But the rest of the world, try to keep it as secret as possible. Alright? Sometimes devotees are not able to control their emotions. Like one time in Atlanta, Srila Prabhupada started crying while doing kirtan. Dear devotees, those are exceptions. In general, don't speak your mood here and there. This is a very private form of bhakti. It is not meant for the masses. It is not meant to be revealed to the masses. Right? It's an individual practice which everyone should understand and aspire for after a decade of being in the path of bhakti. Dear devotees, finally, I am very thankful to Sri Rupa Goswami who gave this path, to Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas who explained this path. And I'd like to conclude, dear devotees, with a freshly composed verse for Srila Rupa Goswami. Devotees, here is a freshly composed verse for Sri Rupa Goswami. This verse is in the meter Shardula Vikriditam, same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam. We'll sing this verse. I'll give the translation of the verse. And we have to pause by 3:30 because there's another devotee who is supposed to give class here. Vrindavan Prabhu, I think is his name. So I wish to respect his time also. So by 3:25 we'll end. If you have any queries, you will find me sitting outside, devotees, okay? And you can ask me personally. But because I wanted to explain this detailed topic, so I wanted to give maximum time to explaining the topic. But any queries, you can find me outside. Alright, dear devotees. Now, let's sing the verse. The meter is Shardul Vikriditam, same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Can we sing together, dear devotees? Yes. Let's sing together, dear devotees. Pave Harshamirupane Chatura Papani Karshatyasho Martyarishna Rupanti Palnajamu Nabhati Modam Sada Bhaktya Pashamikrantanam Rachayati Shri Tulya Samsanyasa Sa Shri Rupa Kripa Madhya Bhajane Saukyam Dadato Jasa. Ajinkya Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
She is extremely adept in bringing out fully ripened manifestations of happiness. She forcibly snatches away all sins. She repeatedly devours the inauspicious series of misfortunes for mortals. She always protects our joy. Through devotion, she quickly causes destruction of material bondage. She is as glorious as Sri Radha herself. May that wonderful lady named Sri Rupa Kripa, the mercy of Srila Rupa Goswami, vigorously bestow pleasure in all my acts of devotional service.
May Sri Rupa Kripa, the mercy of Sri Rupa Goswami, bestow Lobha, may bestow this happiness of Lobha in all acts of bhakti. Dear devotees, here is the verse in the bottom right corner. We'll plot the verse on a wheel, dear devotees. Right? So here's the first line, dear devotees. I've highlighted the first line. The first line will be plotted from bottom left to top right. Alright, let's sing together, dear devotees.
पक्वे हर्षनिरूपणेति चतुरा पापानि कर्षत्यसौ.
Second line we will plot from top left to bottom right, dear devotees.
मर्त्यारिष्टकुपं विमत्तिजमुः नः पाति मोदं सदा.
The third line will plot from top to bottom, dear devotees.
भक्त्या पाशनिकृन्तनं रचयति श्रीतुल्यसंसाञ्जसा.
We are at the bottom sa. Go clockwise, dear devotees now.
सा श्रीरूप कृपामदीय भजने सौख्यं ददात्वोजसा.
Dear devotees, I am a very selfish person. Alright? So inside the prayer there is a hidden signature, dear devotees. If you see the third and the sixth syllables from the rim, you will see that there is a kindly let Sri Rupa Goswami's mercy protect this most insignificant prayer. Dear devotees, yadatra skalitam kinchit vidvamsah purayantu tat yadatra saushtabhurevamene yadatra skalitam kinchit. If there is any mistake in what I spoke, vidvamsah, you are learned devotees, purayantu tat, please correct any mistakes. I will be sitting right outside. Savam kinchit, if there was anything nice, tad guroreva me nahi. Dear devotees, thank you so much. There are many devotees who have been asking if they can stay in touch for over WhatsApp, or if they wish to know some classes which are held, organized online. So dear devotees, I am giving the two barcodes. You can scan if you want to have access through WhatsApp or through YouTube. Alright, thank you very much, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Prabhu ki